Today is Wednesday, October 10th, 2018. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor David vs. Goliath, Episode 3.
This episode is titled, I Am Goliath Strong. That was spoken by Natalie. So they changed it up. Was it Christian got 2?
Yep, he had the first 2.
Now Natalie's got the 3rd. Previously on Survivor, at the Goliath tribe, Natalie, I was about to say Latterly. Natalie had no filter. And Jeremy had no boundaries. Over at the David tribe, there's a plan in place, but the Mason-Dixon alliance is in power, Jeff tells us. Christian and Nick blindsided Jessica, getting all the credit for that move. I'm not sure that's exactly how they showed it to us. So I think there's a little bit of rewriting going on there. Or maybe it's just clarifying for us. But the emphasis was very strong on that was their call. B, Davie, and Carl are stunned. We return to the David tribe on night 6 to the sound of the doom bells.
I read an article by Christian, or at least part of it, and he said that in that clip where he and Gabby were there on the sand, he was trying to talk her into staying there. She didn't originally want to vote Jessica out, but Christian said he did.
Oh, by staying there, you don't mean staying in the game.
No,
you mean
staying on the beach with her when she was crying and say, protect me and that kind of stuff.
To get her to switch her vote to taking Jessica out.
To stay with taking Jessica out and not going back with Jessica and B to take Lyrsa out.
Okay. Well, that's
because
certainly
he
a different
wanted,
twist if that's the case.
At least that's what he had said.
So that lines up with Jeff's retelling in the previously on Survivor, huh?
I think so. I hadn't really thought about it till you said that, and I thought, well, maybe.
Davie tells us there's definitely a lot of tension after that vote. Nick announces when they get back to their camp that was indeed not fun. I think that's him saying something for the benefit of the others. I think Nick thought it was very fun.
What did you think of Christian and Nick just throwing Gabby under the bus big time?
Interesting. Didn't expect that. We thought that there was more loyalty to Gabby there.
I really did. Not by Nick, but by Christian. But guess not. He didn't seem to hesitate. She pulled us in last minute and convinced us.
I think they showed some of that out of order because they showed that discussion. I'm assuming that's the part you're referring to with Davie and Christian talking, where Davie's complaining about feeling blindsided, and I thought you were with me. I thought, we had an alliance. And that's when Christian talks about Gabby doing that. And then we get to see Nick and Christian celebrating about how their plan went so well, and they're in the middle, and Nick's plan to target Gabby. So I wonder if the Christian-Nick thing happened before the Christian-Davie thing actually happened.
He just hey, we're in the middle. We can go either way. We'll decide who goes home next.
Gonna reassemble to keep them guessing.
Yep. And B tells us that blindside woke her up. She ready to play.
She is literally woke now. She has become aware. She has a newfound awareness.
Well, she seemed to start in right away, Again, another person ready to throw Gabby under the bus. I really only feel hurt by her. Because, I'm not upset with you guys. I blame Gabby.
Yep. Nick and Carl and B all focus on Gabby. And B tells us that it's personal.
It is now, for sure. Okay, over the Goliath tribe. Jeremy's never watched wrestling.
Which John finds hard to believe.
Well, since that's his life, that
tells him he is truly missing out.
And
things are so good over at the Goliath tribe, they're having crab races just to pass the time.
Were those
entertaining
crabs?
themselves.
I thought they were snails or something.
No, I think they were crabs.
They were baby crabs.
Yep, small ones.
But I thought, wow, they seem to have plenty of energy, didn't they? Okay, and John, he says he actually trusts Natalie, and he thinks she trusts him. I thought, wow, I'm not sure I could trust Natalie yet with anything.
No, anyone who was lacking in that, to that depth that, at least the way it's presented to us in self-awareness, doesn't seem like anyone you would want to count on.
That made me frown at your boy there.
Yep. Definitely getting mixed signals there. So.
And when we see Jeremy and Mike bonding, Mike likes Jeremy, even though he bosses him around. He still likes him. He entertains him.
And we got more background on that Jeremy lost the spear line that was in the Next Time on Survivor last time, so we get to see it in context now. Jeremy's worried that he's going to lose it, not that he did.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
That's what they'd say if he went out fishing and lost
so
it.
you know he lost it, yeah.
And then he shares some of his life story with Mike, which Mike seemed to enjoy. And that, because he obviously didn't think he was a person of depth until then.
Right, yes.
But he also admits that Jeremy's sneaky.
He's not sure what to make of all of it.
And that
right?
he also doesn't want to be taken down with Jeremy because people won't trust him because he's so sneaky.
Yep. And at this point, they cut to a commercial. And I said, well, it looks like we got 4 targets so far. I'm a little concerned because I got some of these safe. So B's still a target. Gabby's a target. Jeremy's obviously a target because they just gave some of Jeremy's backstory, and you always got to watch out when you get new backstory on someone, right? That can very often be foreshadowing for what's to come.
And of course, Natalie's always
going to be a target. Yeah. What'll be most interesting to me is if there comes a time, and it could be, if somehow she gets dragged along to the merge where she's not a target. But I think she'll still find ways to alienate people even at the merge. Like with that, in some of the clips they were showing when Mike was there with her and he was about to tie something off. And she said, no, get Alec. Alec, come tie the knot. And Mike's like, I'm right here.
I can tie a knot. Mike probably owns a boat. He knows the sailor knots.
Yeah, right.
So, but, okay, Natalie. Anyway, I think she will annoy wherever she ends up. So, but what did you think?
Picture that's been painted, yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of the conversation between Christian and Gabby about wanting to? They seem to be very intrigued with John and this whole Slam Town. I want to know more about Slam Town and what it's like.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. That just seems odd to me.
Well, they're trying to pass the time, and the other side is an unknown. So, yeah, they're just, I don't know. In the context of the conversation, it didn't seem that off. Because they probably, neither one are big wrestling fans. I think that's what they were demonstrating with their conversation.
Yeah, that it was something unfamiliar to them.
Yeah. So they were working out the elements and the attributes of Slamtown and the mayor of Slamtown and why John needed to be a mayor of the town.
Though they seemed at least somewhat interested, whereas Jeremy did not seem interested at all.
Right. And Gabby tells us Christian is so sweet. He's
the sweetest guy.
Number one ally. I wonder how she was feeling when she was watching. What do you think she texted him tonight?
Maybe nothing.
You devil. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he'd make up some story about it.
Probably made her cry. Oh my goodness, he turned against me. So B, Nick, and Davie and Elizabeth are out fishing. Well, Elizabeth is diving and spearfishing.
They're lounging.
Yes. B's laying her head against Nick's leg, and Davie's, they're just up there on the raft floating around and plotting against.
So is she working Nick or
Gabby.
what?
I don't know.
Yeah, still working on the Gab.
Yeah. Nick thinks this is perfect. Gabby's his target, and so he's winding him up.
Well,
marshaling the troops.
It's a good move for him in a lot of respects. I don't think he should do it too soon, but
that's a pretty solid point, though, that he had. He said, Christian's my number one, and I need to get rid of a threat.
I know.
To him being my number one.
I don't disagree with that. It's just that he's got to make sure he's on the side with the numbers before he does that.
And that's what he was doing
and
on the raft.
He doesn't alienate Christian doing it.
Right? He was doing that on the. So that's 2 out of the 3 that were in the minority alliance. He's working on the. He's realigning, reassembling, like they discussed, out there on that raft.
I think it's a good move to get in with everybody and.
That was a demonstration of some upper-level gameplay going on, and the editors chose to highlight that for us.
Though at some point, they have to draw the line in the sand so people know how they're really going to vote. But, right now, I think he's doing exactly what he should be doing.
Fool me once, fool me twice. Hey, look, you're blindsided.
Okay, back over to Goliath. Jeremy said there are too many side conversations. But what he really meant were there are too many side conversations that I'm not in.
That don't involve me.
That's
yes,
right.
Exactly.
That's what he really meant. And Carol right away says, Jeremy's, that's just paranoid talking.
Yep.
So, and I agree.
And wow, did he seem to go about that the wrong way.
Oh, just everything.
Calling a tribe meeting, declaring that he's a super fan, and therefore concerned about the side conversations, not allowing him to make it to the merge.
And how those side conversations will weaken us as a tribe.
You're overlooking me as a threat. Look at me, look at me. That's what he accomplished with his discussion.
I think so.
He thinks he's going to nip it in the bud, slow it down.
And Mike thinks that might come back to bite him.
Idiotic. I think Mike's right.
Yeah, not even idiotic. Idiotic.
Mike, I like how he said he's making a point, but he's really making a point about himself.
Well, John and Angelina are kind of liking that, thinking about getting rid of Jeremy and keeping Natalie. Not that John's got a whole different motive behind it, which I don't think he's showing his hand.
To his credit.
I think he's keeping it under wraps pretty good that I might could use her. And it may turn out that Natalie will be extremely valuable to them if the swap doesn't turn out in their favor. Though, since they have more numbers.
Just like we said at the top, how are you ever going to trust her? She's the one who makes it even.
He seems to. I'm not sure why.
He's obviously spent more time with her than we ever will from observing her on TV. So maybe he's got a better insight.
I think he knows how to work her better.
Perhaps like he said
Stay on her good side.
Earlier in the conversation, on the previous day, where he was sharpening his social skills. And that was a good thing for him. So maybe he really was getting more in tune with that.
Here's where I think Jeremy really shot himself in the foot. All these talking about calling a meeting and all these side conversations, and he runs out and has all these side conversations.
Yeah, my question is, when did they really happen?
Well, that's true. We don't know that, but it does reaffirm what Mike said about Jeremy does it too.
Right.
Obviously. But then he's telling everyone, we got to get rid of Dan. We got to get rid of this. What we got to do
because he's got the idol.
He's got the idol. He's telling everyone he's got so the shady idol. Yeah. And they're a couple. Got to break that couple up. We can't have that.
Look at him out there teaching her to skip rocks.
And I thought, what about you and Mike hanging out all the time, Jeremy? How's that different exactly? I mean,
just like we saw in the next time on Survivor, Jeremy also goes and tells John, hey, Dan's got an idol. John's reaction, though, Jeremy's playing way too hard, and I don't trust him. Yeah.
He's like, Besides, I like Dan better than you, but thanks for the information.
He skipped right over the
use it down the road, but
idol info.
It doesn't make me trust you, because that means if you knew I had an idol, you'd be blabbing to everyone too.
All right, community challenge, day 9 in the pouring rain.
They couldn't even hardly open their eyes. That would hurt. They should give them some glasses or something.
It's like all the Goliaths
the windshield wipers.
And Jeremy demonstrated super attitude. Jeremy didn't. He was scowling. But all the other Goliaths were happy.
He kind of had his head down and was kind of frowny
He's
face.
like, yeah, you celebrate the rain. I am not happy to be out here. Like most of the Davids, except for Davie and Elizabeth, they were excited too.
The Goliaths seemed to react. They were surprised that Jess was. They don't seem to be understanding how the other tribe is.
They don't have any sense.
Yeah.
And why would they?
Well, They
don't have any reason to concern themselves with that group.
Davids don't know what's going on in their tribe and who likes who and who doesn't and what the alliances are. So I don't know why they thought they would have any insight. But okay, what did you think of the reward?
Comfort's always huge. Mm-hmm. And by day 9, you've definitely had enough of sleeping on the ground. You would so love to be able to be in that hammock or to have a true pillow to put your head on.
You know what my first thought was? Oh, lovely. Wet pillows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ugh. I mean, it's probably better than nothing even then. But wet wood. But I thought, I was happy when Jeff covered it back up. It's like, yeah, Jeff, at least cover it up.
Yeah, Alison makes another comment about that idol that Probst is only borrowing it while they get ready for this challenge. And when I saw the challenge, I thought, no, the Goliath's got this.
It was Angelina last time. It was Alison this time.
Given the physical element, I really thought the Goliaths were going to once again get a huge advantage when I saw the challenge here and how it was set up. But the Davids did really well.
Well, I kind of thought, because they showed Natalia saying Natalie wants to do the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, uh-oh, they showed that for a reason.
Yeah, it still could go either way. So how does that play? What if she's awesome at the puzzle? Where does that leave you?
Yeah.
You can cheer against her if you want, and yeah, you end up sitting out. But
however, we didn't have to worry about that.
So Alec and B face off in the first stage. It's the classic where they've got a rope attached to them and they've got to untangle it and get it to the second stage.
They were neck and neck. They both did well, except B hurt herself.
Yeah, that's not good at all. When you pay with a significant physical injury,
well,
we'll see.
ACL, that could take her out.
It was an MCL, but yeah.
Oh, well, one of those. That could.
And they were. It ended up being a tie to get back to the mat for the second stage to take off.
Yep.
Where the two groups of 3 had to face off.
Davie and Lyrsa versus Jeremy, Mike, and Kara.
Yep.
And they ended up pretty much even too.
Yep. Everybody was having trouble with that, so good on the Davids there also.
Now I think John got the throw first, didn't he? He
did. Yeah, they got the sled back first.
Just a little. I thought that thing was going to be a lot heavier, and that they would have the advantage with John pulling.
Mm-hmm. And Dan, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's kind of why I decided.
They did, but having to hook it can even things out.
That's true.
And even though Carl had to give up on Coral. Even though Carl had to give
you're not in Walking Dead.
Right. Even though Carl had to give up on throwing and hand it over to Elizabeth, and she didn't really hook it. She just split the difference, which was enough for them to pull it back. Yeah.
Go Elizabeth.
It didn't make any significant difference in terms of time on puzzle.
Just yet one more feather in her cap.
Alison and Natalie face off against Christian and Gabby in a 4-piece pyramid puzzle. Those things are
I hate those.
Really challenging. Even if you're good at 3D visualization in your head, that can be really hard. You add the adrenaline dump that comes from being in a challenge like that and your livelihood in the game, and those things can be hard to see. Although Angelina said that she saw.
Yeah, but
we're never going to know.
Something? Didn't Lyrsa say something?
Would she risk it?
Risk what?
Saying what the solution was out loud. I had the same thought. Well, if you see it, can you not say something to them? But probably you couldn't without sharing it with the other tribe too.
Covered her mouth and kind of got Alison's attention. And
I don't think there's a good way to explain it.
Yeah.
And Gabby and Christian end up pulling it out. They find the answer after doing some serious hypothesis testing there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Gabby just kind of looked into it there. She was like, oh, this is it.
All right, Probst tells us that they'll have medical checkout B. And Natalia, she's okay. Angelina.
Okay, here's where I didn't quite understand, because she's saying, Well, if I had my way, I would vote for Natalie
it's
with
very,
a smile.
very
And it's
telling.
like,
I think this is one of the biggest takeaways of the whole thing. Not necessarily what the
when
result
did they
is.
say that? Yeah, they must have been back at camp or something with that interview, and they'd already had some discussions.
So Natalia decides to out Natalie for being poor at the puzzle right there to Probst, and
Yep.
goes ahead and credits Angelina with knowing the answer.
Well, she was playing up and wanting to get her out.
Day 9, I was making my notes, and I thought, oh yeah, it's day 9, so they'll go right back to the Goliaths. But no, they come back to the David's tribe, who are happy, celebrating, which we don't normally get to see. But then I thought, oh yeah, they need to show us what's going on with B, because she just went to medical. So yeah, we find out that B had sprained her MCL. She's got it wrapped up, and she tells us the story about how she had heard it when she was training for a fight that she had to call off previously. And so she knew something was wrong. Hopefully it won't be a game-ending kind of thing for her. But I wouldn't count on her being an element in the physical challenges anymore.
Well, that was my thought. She'd be an easy vote off if she's injured.
She's not getting the food and the medical treatment and the rehab and all that she's going to need for a sprain. A sprain like that could easily take weeks to heal.
Or months.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, she's still
especially
young.
with what she does, though.
Yeah.
She puts a lot of strain on it, I'm sure. So, anyway.
Back at the
I
Goliath
wish you
tribe,
were.
Natalie tells us that she is great at puzzles, but this one got me. All right, you're going to lead with being great at puzzles after you flunked it, huh?
Were you surprised when she approached Jeremy and asked for his support?
Yes.
I was.
This is not going to end well.
Interesting.
Yeah, after the way you dealt with him the first time.
I don't know. Jeremy does seem a little petulant or something.
Oh, he's absolutely petulant. And he totally misplayed this. The right answer is, yeah, I'll see exactly what I can do.
Well, he kind of said what Angelina said. Well, I just don't think the votes are there.
The numbers aren't there, yeah.
No, I don't think we can even get numbers.
Didn't even think that was wise either.
No.
When you got a situation like this and you got somebody there, you say, yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Because for somebody like her, that's just a challenge. Makes her more determined.
Well, and you're calling attention to yourself. He tells her it'll be an uphill battle to save you. I don't think it's going to happen. Plus, you have put such poor self-awareness. So he goes back and hits her with that again in the course of the conversation.
What he's basically saying is, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't like you anymore, and I want you gone. I offered to help you.
There are
and you
no
didn't
certainties in the context of this game.
No.
And if you had ever had to work from a disadvantage, you would know what that was like. And some of us constantly work from those disadvantages, whether it's getting support for a project that you believe in, that you think is going to be beneficial, or you're calling the shots. That's not how you manage things. Anyone can end up being an ally, and you're closing those doors on opportunities. We see it happen to castaways all the time. They're just so eager to shut a door, not realizing that it may be one that they need.
Well, I thought it was interesting that they showed us Angelina approaching Alison first, talking about, hey, we should take this opportunity to get Jeremy out. He's way smarter and a bigger threat in the game than, I don't mean he's smarter than Natalie, but he's smarter in the game than Natalie.
And we hadn't seen a whole lot with Alison. She's not really a factor.
I know. That's why I was like, maybe she's not as...
Here's your takeaway, though, I think. She's still not. Because it was really, showing us that was all about Angelina's pitch.
Yeah, well,
Angelina is a bigger part of this episode's story than even Natalie.
I didn't think they would do that because they just lost their first challenge, number one. And Natalie's just so easy. But I do agree that Jeremy is a big threat. And I think he knew going into tribal, the way he was acting and talking, I think he absolutely knew that he was going to go. I think Mike or somebody told him.
Angelina tells us this is all about power of persuasion, and that's a talent that she has. Whether it's getting out of a ticket or getting her way for something else, this is a skill that
She knows how to manipulate.
Yeah, so
and she's smart enough not to have said it to anyone in the tribe, just in her confessional. That's the only smart place to say that kind of thing.
She makes her pitch to... It's important that the editor showed it to us because, again, I think she's the star of this episode. It shows her making her pitch to Mike, and Mike tries to help Jeremy. He talks about how Natalie's such a demoralizing force, and we really need to get rid of her.
Mm-hmm. And didn't say, but I'm kind of attached to Jeremy too. But
and we see that Natalia is really, she's all about,
and Dan
at this point, really wanting to get rid of Natalie.
Well, they clashed right off the bat building the shelter, big time. And I don't think Natalia is very forgiving with being treated the way she was treated, and I don't blame her. But she wants her gone no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Dan supported that as well. But
Natalia tells us in a confessional, I don't like her. I want her gone.
I think we've gathered that already.
Yeah. Natalie wants to have conversations without Jeremy, but Jeremy is doing the right thing for a change in that he's trying to keep tabs on what her conversations are because he's wise to what's going on. If it ain't her, I mean, who's she going to pick? And so she's already made that clear, and he knows he made an enemy of her. So, yeah, now he's stuck with dogging her, trying to find out whose name she's putting out there instead of her own.
But I don't know that didn't hurt him, too, even more. That people are like, let's just...
Where did he didn't have a choice. He dug this hole for himself.
And looking at him, doing that with someone, it's like, I don't want to have to deal with that later on. So I like to get them both out. And he's way bigger threat than her. Nobody's going to like her in this game. She's going to burn her bridges wherever she goes, other than John, maybe.
They had an interesting back and forth for sure. Natalie actually loses an argument, gets frustrated, and tries to go away. She said, we're having this discussion. You made it about you.
This discussion is over.
You didn't make it about me. You made it about you.
Well, and then he attacks her with and you've never even seen Survivor.
I realize now.
You don't.
Yeah.
So, I think he was a little out of control there.
Yep. Well, they were escalating the whole time. You knew it was building.
Yep. And she did the talk to the hand. I am done.
It isn't over, though, because we're off to Tribal Council, where we got storm clouds. And fire does represent life, but the rain's going to work pretty hard on those torches. It starts pouring there at Tribal Council.
And Jeremy, right out the gate, says Natalie is on the outside of the social dynamics.
There's 9. 9 of us get along. There's one that doesn't.
And everybody's going, mm-hmm.
I like that we got a little aside right at the beginning, too, with Angelina talking about how important sunlight is, how it feels like a small miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And that is absolutely the case. Whether you're wet or cold or both, it does feel like that when you're in those kind of circumstances. Mike tells us how much he's lowered his standards, that a basket that he's using for a pillow, he's decided has become comfortable while he lies in the mud.
Yeah. It's amazing what can feel good when you're that uncomfortable.
But like you were saying, Jeremy and Natalie kick it off, so it's on now. Natalie tells us it's Jeremy that has a problem.
He's still attacking. He's in attack mode.
Poor communication skills.
Not just making statements, he's attacking. Her communication skills are wrong.
And this is really, I think, in support of the point you were making earlier. He knew going in.
Yeah.
Probst is going to try to sell this in a certain light, but I'm with you. I think he knew what was up.
He absolutely knew. The look on his face. He was kind of ticked off, and he was fighting for his life right here and trying to convince people.
He offered an accurate description of her from what we've been given by the editors, which is she does appear to have poor communication skills. And everybody's thinking the same thing. How did she get to 57?
Yeah.
At this point, not figure any of this out. And worse yet, she's double downing on all of it as she goes.
Well, and him talking about letting her dig her own hole as he dug his.
Yep.
You know, he did that this episode.
Natalie's not having any of it. She's like, check his tone. He's not self-aware either.
Well, that's true.
Oof.
That was a good comeback.
Jeremy, he dialed it up to 11. He just keeps ramping it up. There's going to be
That's
9
why
of these people at my funeral.
I think he knew.
They're not going to be at yours.
That again felt more attacking personally. I don't like that.
I did not believe for 1 minute when Natalie said, I am open to constructive criticism.
No.
I said, this is contrary to your very being.
Those other people, the other 8, I commend them because they should have all been doing eye rolls.
Yeah.
And I don't think for a second that one of them believed that at all.
No.
Their opinion of her has not changed. I don't know what she thinks she's gained, but she got another 3 days. That's what she got for that vote.
It gives them all the opportunity to share with her what they have observed with regards to her behavior. Dan tells us that she does indeed speak down to people. And Alec tells us that, she started out of the gate wrong on day 1. And she can't help herself. She has to chime in along the way when people are offering suggestions for her. She's to add, I'm impressed it's all about me.
That half the tribal council's been all about me.
Don't believe you, Natalie. That sarcasm's not winning you any points.
I'd be very pleased to see a blindside. So she makes her unsure what they're going to do.
Her senior citizen's plea again.
Yeah, that's kind of old.
Jeremy responds with, she's not loyal. There's going to be a tribe swap, and she's not going to stay with us. And that's when we get the that's when we get the title of the episode there. And she tells us she is Goliath strong, that she is loyal. And she also says that I may not have all the answers, but I have a lot of them. Why would you even say that out loud?
Well, that's why I think the others were just sitting there smiling like, yeah, that's good. Because even if they merge, I think the only way Natalie really gets saved is if they need her to keep their numbers in the split.
Sure, yeah.
And then she might. Otherwise, I still think she's just such an easy vote off.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to get to see her alienate another group. You can almost count on it.
Yeah.
So she had some choice words for Jeremy when she went to cast her vote. Said, you showed me no love. So that bitter feeling in your eyes, that's Natalie Napalm coming for you. Now get off my island. And your skin is gorgeous. So what, she painted him a compliment, which was also some kind of reference. Also, I don't know if it was backhanded, if she truly believed it. That's the thing. I'm not sure if the skin comment was carrying something else in it.
Or just to highlight she has a skincare product.
Yeah, that she can later reference at some point. I don't know.
She might have even told him that. Oh, I do skincare and you have beautiful skin.
Maybe she was just trying to give him one good solid thing. As
I have no idea what that
put the smackdown on him on the way out.
Yeah.
Okay, the votes come in. We get one for Natalie, and then bam, 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 bam. It's unanimous. Jeremy is voted out. And you could tell Mike's bummed he lost a buddy there.
But he voted for him.
Yep. Everyone voted for him.
That's why I think he told him ahead of time and said, I have to, sorry, but I can't ruin my game. I got to go with the majority alliance here.
Probst tells us that it was a perfect blindside, and that should make all of them worry because you never know when it's coming for you, which is a nice way to sort of put a bow on it. But I'm with you. Again, I don't think it was a blindside. I think he knew what was coming. Mm-hmm. It just had that feeling, that sense to it. And
he seems angry.
Yes. Like he knew something was a done deal.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was really angry about it, and still...
He's just going to take it out on her before he leaves, at least from the little bit of the tribal council that we get to see. So that's why I think this episode was more about Angelina than it really was about Natalie, and Jeremy for that point. I mean, Jeremy got his moment. He got to tell his dad's story, and that was all good in the first act there where he was talking to Mike.
Yeah, because as soon as the vote came in, I turned to you and said, Angelina got her way.
Yeah, so that's against Natalia, against Dan's wishes, against Mike's wishes. It was a unanimous vote. So maybe and against Alec, maybe it was really a demonstration of her powers of persuasion. Maybe. I thought that was her with the big head a little bit, the whole pretty girl effect kind of thing.
She does have an ego, and Jeff talked about that, but she, I think, keeps it under wraps most of the time.
Results speak volumes, and she got results to the point of a unanimous vote to someone who's got to be way more valuable than Natalie. I'm just going to be surprised, and I would love to be surprised, but I'll be stunned if somehow she ends up being significant going forward.
Well, this is the David tribe's opportunity to go, what?
Yeah.
They voted out Jeremy. Oh, I think I didn't have Jeremy making the merge, did I?
I'll look in just a second. Next time on Survivor.
Gabby feels so desperate in her position.
She's at a breaking point again. Go figure.
Well, she, seems to be a lot of people pointing the finger at her. Next.
She somehow got wind of it, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that Christian is, if he's not seeming supportive either, then.
Or they're in different tribes now.
That's right.
Yep. Drop your buffs time.
We didn't look to see if she had on a different buff. Of course, they probably would have blocked the color. Okay, Christian says it's time for him to turn on the charm.
Charmocalypse. Yes. Yeah. So which makes us think that he needs to turn on the charm because he's down in numbers again.
Yeah.
So reset button. That was my immediate takeaway.
And it's time for Davie to start scheming and backstabbing. So I thought you hadn't done that already.
Right.
I don't think they'd had to because they thought they had the numbers, but they're just starting that.
Yep.
But that's it for next week.
Well, how do you think the shuffle's going to play out, or whatever's going to happen?
I have no idea.
So they're at 17, right? So 16, they could do 2 tribes of 8, and they could have one person out who comes back after the vote.
Yeah, which is always kind of a not. I don't know.
Doesn't seem fulfilling, does it? Yeah.
I don't always like that because it's like, who cares? We're not losing any numbers because we just get somebody back.
Takes something out of it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and why would you risk hurting yourself in a challenge when you knew you were still going to have the same amount of numbers at the end of it after tribal council? So, I don't know. I just don't love that when they do that. But I don't see how else they could do it because it certainly doesn't work in threes either because they would have 6 on 2 tribes and 5 on 1.
Which they can do.
They could do,
and
but that seems odd.
Give that tribe some kind of an advantage because they're going to a new camp.
Maybe.
Yeah, we've certainly seen that before. So to answer your question, we both had Jeremy making the merge.
We did?
Yep.
Huh. I kind of thought I didn't. I guess I did it because of his strength.
Okay.
But, well, I must have thought about doing it.
Yep. So what do you think is going to be more fun if they go to 2 tribes or 3 tribes?
I want them to go to 2. I don't want 3. I don't know why. I just don't.
Well, for some of the reasons that you said, and that 3rd tribe tends to face such immense hardship.
Yeah.
With the whole, we got to make camp again. And they usually double, triple whammy it by putting them in a really bad setting that doesn't have much in the way of resources.
Yeah,
So
I don't enjoy seeing them get that beat down.
Right.
They're pretty beat down as it is out there right now. So I think I would rather see them.
The weather's definitely doing a number on them. Yep. So 2. Yeah. So we're hoping for 2 tribes in the shuffle.
But that would mean one person would have to be off by themselves, or they just have uneven tribes, which you would think they would give the extra person to the Goliath tribe regardless. So anyway, we'll have to wait and see because I don't know.
So I think in summary, when you look back at this episode, Christian and Nick were celebrated as big power players. Nick in particular seemed to be playing above average in that regard. And then Angelina, head and shoulders above everyone else in organizing that vote. Probably not all her. I think, other members of her alliance were helping in the ways that they could, but we're left with the story of she really wrangled together a 9-1 vote.
Well, and if Nick were to win this game, he should throw a little something Pat's way. Because he wouldn't have stayed in the game if Pat hadn't gone out.
So we went from Angelina telling Natalie in a previous episode that there was really nothing that she could do for her numbers-wise to Angelina saved Natalie. Or did Natalie really persuade Angelina in the end? Is she the queen of all persuasion?
No.
And work that? No, you're not even going to let me go there? Pose it as a question?
No.
Okay, all credit to Angelina.
Don't even want to hear it.
Yeah, it seems too difficult for Natalie to dig herself out of that hole.
Though that I can just feel it inside Natalia. She's just like
some resentment.
I
Yeah.
have to put up with her.
Well, that's the thing. If Natalia ends up on the tribe, on a new shuffled tribe with Natalie, she'll be gunning for her.
She's like, oh yeah,
for sure.
No, she's horrible. We have to get her out of here.
Yeah. She'll give up all their secrets just so that she can get rid of her.
That's true.
How about a JSFL update?
I can do that. We now have 4 people tied in first place with 14 points.
Okay.
And there were 18 people who lost their USB 24. There were 22 people, congratulations, that earned a vote-off point.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 64 people who lost a safe point.
Yes.
Now for the side challengers, tied for first with 12 points are Brandon, Iron Dave, Jay Kindred, Parker, and Stacy. With 11 points, Cold Mike, Drew, Jeremiah, and Jonathan. 10 points, we have Rodney, and with 8, James and Shannon.
Mm-hmm. Another team there having to dig themselves out of a hole.
Yep, well, they started there, but they can do it.
They biffed the first one, but yeah, they're working on it.
That's right. So, all right. But I can't say anything. I hadn't got any vote-off points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we both thought it was going to be B going, so we thought the Davids would lose again.
I kind of had a feeling.
It honestly never occurred to me they would actually let Natalie do the puzzle. No way did I consider that.
I didn't either. I thought she would sit out.
If you would have asked me, how could the Goliaths lose? I probably would have said, well, if they put Natalie in. But there's no way they'll do that. They'll sit her out. Why would they risk it?
She pushed it and they gave in. But I think Natalia, since she was already working that angle.
Oh, she was all
she
about
it.
She might have already
hoped that.
Here's some rope. Yeah.
Yeah, go hang yourself. Because that works for me.
Yeah.
But
that's why she was so eager to say that Angelina had seen the answer to the puzzle. She just wanted to tighten that rope a little more.
When I chose B to go, I just had a feeling she wasn't gonna. But I didn't know who else to vote for. Because I just thought she would be the choice from that tribe. I didn't know they were all going to turn it Gabby. But I just went ahead and did it anyway. But I did have that little niggling feeling. But I still really didn't think Goliath. I thought they were going to win last week. But when they won the 2 in a row, I thought, well, and there's a puzzle at the end of this one. And I just didn't think they were going to win. So.
Okay.
I totally
all right.
didn't.
Imagine we've got 2 tribes. They've been shuffled. Blah, blah, blah. Kind of a reset.
Who has any
Who's going to go? Well, there's weakness, and it's still going to be physical challenges that you need to be able to respond to.
Yeah.
So you got some obvious targets. You were given one for sure in next time on Survivor, although that may be because she gets a reprieve through the shuffle. But you were told that Gabby's in danger.
By Gabby, which could be paranoia, but she's definitely, I think.
Gabby's struggling.
B's struggling.
B's hurt physically.
Lyrsa is always
going to
in
be
jeopardy.
Yeah. Same with Natalie. It might even be a reset on Mike becoming a target again too. So that's kind of like your bottom rung.
I don't know. I still think Mike's going to be okay for a while.
And if Elizabeth's not able to watch out for Lyrsa, Lyrsa's moves up higher as a likely vote out. Mm-hmm. And can Christian charm Apocalypse anyone? I don't know.
Okay.
Besides Gabby.
And it depends on who has the majority on the tribes. As far as if you've got a group of the Davids, they may pull together in order to get rid of the Goliath to kind of balance things up at the merge. You know, they may be thinking a long game.
Yeah.
And so it just depends on...
This is when they like to do a 2-day cycle instead of a 3-day cycle. So we've had 3-day cycles, right? We ended at day 9 on this one. When they do a shuffle like this, they like to sometimes go to a 2-day cycle so that people don't have a chance to form those bonds. So someone like you were just describing that's in a minority alliance situation doesn't have time to build a relationship with the majority, so that majority, like you were describing in that one instance, if it were the Davids, would feel even more compelled to take out the Goliath because there's less time to build a relationship.
Did you have a dream about that or something that made you believe that was reality?
Well, that's just how things play out. It takes time to build those.
I noticed that they have a 2-day cycle typically after a merge.
Okay.
Not a merge, but a
shuffle. Yeah. Sometimes referred to as a swap.
You said it like it was, you had documented it.
Well, we get 2-day cycles at this point in the game quite frequently.
I'll have to take your word for it.
Okay.
Because I don't know that.
All right.
That's all I was saying. So do you have any other ideas about, or are those your top 4 picks to go, 3 of which are on the David?
Natalie definitely has to stay in play. Actually, I did 5 because I included Mike too.
Oh, yeah.
I think he comes back in. Yeah, they made a point of showing Be hurt. And some of it's just by way of explanation. When you know someone's going to medical, you need to see how the story ends.
Well, the nice thing is, whatever tribe she's on, there won't be even numbers. Somebody has to sit out. But if she's not...
Depending on how they split it. Sometimes they take that odd person, if they do that route, and they send them off to exile.
That's true. Then she would have to
before
play.
The challenge, yeah. And then they come back afterwards, yeah. So I'm actually still leaning towards her again. I'm leaning towards B again because she's physically hurt, and a knee's a big mobility thing.
Yeah, but Amy Cusack did it. She played with the torn ACL and had surgery after the game was over.
Yeah, she's hardcore.
She played the rest of the season with it.
Yeah.
And did whatever she had to.
Yeah, B makes her livelihood off of having that joint
her
work.
Physicality.
Yeah, she can't land a punch, and if she can't plant.
You can't jump off of something and you know, your knees take all that pressure. That's
knees are weapons in MMA. So yeah, she's
part of the.
I gotta believe that she's gonna favor that a little bit. So it's gonna make her. It's all of a sudden Lyrsa is more physically able than B potentially, depending on how bad that sprain is.
I like that Lyrsa gets in there and does. She's not afraid to jump in there and do.
No, yeah.
I mean, she doesn't like Natalie sometimes would kind of stand off to the side and, you know, look and all of that. But at least Lyrsa jumps in and helps with whatever she's doing.
Yeah, I think it was Eliza in the listener feedback show last week was talking about how much she admired her confidence. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was the week before. In any case, yeah, Lyrsa's definitely got a confidence about her.
Yeah, I like her.
She's a doer for sure.
Absolutely. And she doesn't back away from it.
Well, there you have it. We've done the recap. We've done the broad strokes. We're ready to turn it over to you, the other super fans here. We do that on Saturdays. Looking forward to hearing your feedback about week 3 and the goings-ons here. Who do you think was the real star of the episode? And how shocked and surprised were you at the outcome? Do you think that really was a blindside? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. You can send them in by email to joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. You can record your own audio and send it as an attachment to that email address, or we've got a voicemail line where you can call It's like the easiest to use, but sometimes the quality is a little iffy there. But it sure is quick and easy to use. The phone number is 206-350-1547. There's a toll-free version, 844-643-8737. Whether you write it or record it or call it in, we're looking for you to keep it in that 3-minute range so that we can give everybody an opportunity to share their thoughts, their analysis, their predictions. And one of the things we love the most is when you bring your particular perspective. Yeah, it's getting some consonant alliteration going there in the mix in your feedback. So you might be able to see things from a different perspective than either Joanne or I do and share some deeper insight given your knowledge and experience in the world. We look forward to hearing from you.
Just want to say, thinking about all of you in the South, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina.
Again, yeah.
My mother's in the path, so prayers for her, please.
Yep.
And I think she's fine. It feels okay. I can't reach her. The phone lines are down, and she probably doesn't have power, but they were expecting that. So, but I still feel like she's fine. So I hope all of you are fine and make it through the hurricane.
Yep.
Send Michael back out into the ocean.
Anything else you want to add?
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one.